A biblical story is getting new life thanks to new evidence of Noah's Ark. Researchers say they have 3D images of what they believe is the Ark in the Ararat Mountains in Turkey.
These photos actually show Noah's Ark. Then they can prove that everything that's written in the Bible about this whole event is actually true, right? This is a historical event that actually happened.
The legendary and elusive Mount Ararat has always been pursued only by the bravest souls. Under the leadership of Dr. Fatih Ahmed Yuksel, a determined group ventured into the harsh, icy wilderness in search of the fabled Noah's Ark. Amid the unforgiving cold and dangerous cliffs, something unexpected caught their eye. A structured shape that looked eerily like a giant ship, stark against the wild snowscape. Using advanced technology, they unearthed signs of a massive buried structure, sparking fierce debates worldwide. Could this really be the ancient Ark? Let's pull back the curtain to discover the truth about burning brush. The search for Noah's Ark in harsh weather. Mount Ararat, known from ancient tales and the focus of many adventurers, was again in the spotlight. Dr. Fatih Ahmed Yuksel, an archaeologist obsessed with finding Noah's Ark, led a team on this challenging mission. This team included eager students, experienced climbers, and tech-savvy experts. They traveled through the harsh Turkish mountains, enduring strong winds, cold weather, and the danger of avalanches. Their goal was the Durupinar site in the Tendurek Mountains, where local stories suggested Noah's Ark might be found. During their journey, Andrew Jones, a keen researcher, noticed an unusual shape in the snow. It looked like a large, buried vessel. The team quickly used their high-tech equipment to investigate and found a large structure under the snow. This discovery excited the archaeological community. Was this truly Noah's Ark? Some saw it as confirmation of their beliefs, while others demanded more proof. Religious scholars viewed it as evidence supporting the Bible's stories, while scientists and skeptics called for a careful analysis of the find. The discovery sparked debates between believers and skeptics. Some argued that faith and science could coexist and help us understand the truth. Dr. Yuksel opened the site to impartial experts, hoping to resolve the debate. The world eagerly awaited their findings, wondering if the Ark had really been found. At Mount Ararat, a place where faith and reason met, the truth awaited discovery. As the world watched, the fate of Noah's Ark remained uncertain, symbolizing humanity's quest for meaning in a complex world. How Jericho's walls witnessed the power of belief. Jericho is one of the oldest cities known to history. It had massive walls, each spaced about 15 feet from the next, with soldiers and watchmen always on guard at securely locked gates. These features made Jericho look like a fortress that no enemy could break into. The city's design, using advanced building techniques of the time, made it nearly impossible for any invader to penetrate. More than just being physically strong, Jericho also had great symbolic importance. In the stories of the Bible, it stood as a challenge to the power of God. These stories tell how the city fell, seeing it as a victory of faith against seemingly impossible odds. Led by Joshua, the Israelites surrounded Jericho and marched around it for 7 days until, miraculously, its walls fell down. Historians and archaeologists have long debated the truth of this biblical story. Some believe it is an accurate historical record, while others view it with doubt, questioning how true it is. Archaeological digs at Jericho have found parts of the stone and mud brick walls that the city was known for, which date back to the times of the Bible. These remains help us understand more about the city's history, but they don't fully explain how Jericho came to its end. What exactly caused Jericho's downfall is still debated today. Various theories suggest it could have been due to attacks from outside enemies or conflicts within the city itself. No matter the reason, the destruction of Jericho has come to symbolize overcoming great challenges and has been interpreted in many ways over the years. Now, the ruins of Jericho stand as a reminder of the complex nature of history and the lasting fascination with myths and legends. As researchers continue to study Jericho, the remnants of its walls still draw interest and wonder, reminding us of the ongoing human search for understanding and knowledge. Jericho was famous for being an incredibly secure city, with thick, tall walls and well-guarded gates. These walls were strategically positioned to tower over the surrounding area, forming a strong barrier against any would-be invaders. Built with cutting-edge techniques for that time, the walls of Jericho were considered virtually unbeatable. However, the stories in the Bible offer a different view, suggesting that the fall of Jericho was a miraculous event caused by divine forces. According to the book of Joshua, the Israelites, fueled by their faith and resolve, marched around Jericho for a full week, after which the city's walls suddenly collapsed. This dramatic story has led to much discussion among historians and archaeologists. Some see it as a factual account of what happened, while others are skeptical, thinking the story might be more symbolic than literal. Excavations at the site of ancient Jericho have uncovered evidence of the city's fortified walls, which were indeed built long ago, providing insights into its past but not settling debates about its fall. The reasons behind the fall of Jericho are still a topic of debate, with various experts suggesting different causes, from external military attacks to internal disagreements. Regardless of the exact cause, the fall of Jericho is often seen as a symbol of triumph in the face of great adversity, and it continues to inspire many interpretations. Today, the ruins of Jericho are a testament to the complexities of history and the enduring appeal of myths and legends. As scholars keep studying the site, the ancient walls of Jericho still hold fascination and spark curiosity, offering a glimpse into the past and the continuous human quest for deeper understanding. Next, the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire were like special signs in the sky that helped the Israelites during their desert journey after leaving Egypt. The pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. In the old stories from the Bible, there are fascinating accounts of the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire that are said to have helped the Israelites on their journey through the desert after they left Egypt. These incredible events were thought to serve two main purposes. At night, the pillar of fire was believed to light up the dark, barren desert, providing some warmth and light in the cold darkness. Let's explore these stories more. Picture yourself walking through a desert, and suddenly, you see a huge cloud above you, giving you shade from the harsh sun. It's almost like having a mobile umbrella, given to you by a higher power. And when night falls, instead of walking in pitch darkness, there's a fiery pillar lighting the sky, guiding you like a lighthouse. However, some people might doubt these stories. It's not common for clouds to provide shade in that way, and a pillar of fire might seem more likely to start a fire than to light the way. It all sounds quite unbelievable, right? Still, these stories are an important part of ancient beliefs and customs. For the Israelites making their way through tough desert conditions, these events were seen as clear signs of divine help and protection. Think about the deeper meaning of these events too. In a vast desert with no clear landmarks, the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire provided direction and a sense of purpose, acting like beacons leading the Israelites to their destined land. Despite modern science and skepticism, these stories of the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire are still told today, capturing the imagination of many. They remind us of the power of belief and the mystery of the divine. Yet those who believe hold on to these stories tightly, seeing them as acts of divine help meant to lead and protect the chosen people during their challenging journey. For them, the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire are real signs of divine care and comfort, offering peace and support in the hardships of desert life. However, even among the faithful, some might wonder if these supposed miracles were just natural events that were exaggerated into myths over time. Clouds do cast shadows, and fire provides warmth. Maybe the Israelites saw these natural things and gave them a supernatural importance. Despite doubts, the stories of the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire continue, woven into the fabric of religious traditions and tales. Whether seen as true miracles or just poetic stories, these narratives still inspire and provoke thought about the relationship between faith, myth, and human creativity. In these ancient writings, the pillar of cloud during the day and the pillar of fire at night are mentioned often. They seem to act like a divine GPS, guiding the Israelites through the wilderness. During the day, it's said that God led the Israelites with a cloud that provided shade for direction. When night came, this cloud turned into a fire, lighting up and warming the desert night. The imagery is quite dramatic, isn't it? But there's more. These scriptures say the cloud also kept the Israelites and Egyptians apart, mixing darkness and light to prevent them from coming together. It acted like a heavenly barrier. And here's another interesting point. An angel from God is said to have been within this cloud and fire, guiding the Israelites like a divine tour guide. It's like having a GPS, but with a touch of heavenly help. Depending on a cloud for navigation seems pretty unlikely, right? Moreover, God is said to have used this cloud to communicate, giving instructions and messages like a divine announcer. Imagine hearing God's voice coming from a cloud. It's a strange and fascinating idea. No matter the skepticism, these accounts describe the cloud and fire as a constant companion throughout the Israelites' travels. It's like having a personal weather service that doesn't predict rain, but signals divine help. Quite handy, right? It's like having a heavenly visitor who stays a bit too long. Yet, it's very useful for knowing when it's time to move on. Now, the 10 plagues of Egypt. These were a series of terrible events that happened in Egypt. What caused them? The middle disasters of Egypt's biblical punishment. The story of the 10 plagues of Egypt is told in the Bible. It describes 10 terrible disasters that happened in Egypt, as told by religious texts. These plagues are shown as signs of God's anger, given to the Egyptians because they wouldn't free the Israelites from slavery. Each plague brought massive destruction and chaos to Egypt and its people. The first plague turned the Nile River into blood. This wasn't just a change in color. The river, normally full of life, became a foul and deadly stream of blood, destroying Egypt's main source of water. It became useless for drinking or farming. Following this, a plague of frogs covered Egypt. Frogs, usually harmless, became a huge problem, invading homes, fields, and even places where people slept. Their constant presence and noise made life miserable for everyone. Then came gnats, or lice, as some say. These tiny insects swarmed all over, causing itching and discomfort to people and animals. This added to the misery and distress already felt across the land. Next, wild animals, possibly flies or beetles, swarmed in. They destroyed crops and were a danger to people. Their endless buzzing and biting made it hard for anyone to be outside. After that, a deadly disease hit the livestock. This affected the animals that were central to Egypt's farming and economy. The death of these animals was a big blow to the Egyptians, making their sad situation even worse. Then, painful boils and sores broke out on the Egyptians. These sores made everyday activities painful and difficult, worsening the already tough conditions. This also put more strain on the medical services, which were overwhelmed. The 7th plague was a terrible hailstorm with huge balls of ice and fire. It destroyed crops, homes, and infrastructure, causing injury and death, and added to the despair and hopelessness felt by the people. A swarm of locusts followed, eating any plants that had survived the hail. This left nothing for the people to eat, pushing many to the edge of starvation. The 9th plague brought a thick darkness that covered the land, turning day into night. This stopped all normal day-to-day activities and filled the Egyptians with fear, thinking it was a sign of worse things to come. Each of these plagues was more than just a physical disaster. They were seen as divine judgments and severely tested the resilience and spirit of the Egyptian people. Each event left a lasting impact, contributing to a profound sense of crisis throughout Egypt. In the end, the 10th plague led to the death of Egypt's firstborn sons, severely affecting the nation. This final act of punishment hit the heart of Egyptian society, taking away the most valued members of many families. The cries of sorrow that followed were unmatched in Egypt's history, showing the peak of divine punishment in the country. Picture this: the great Nile River, essential to Egypt, turned into a red stream, a shocking sight of blood flowing through what was once clear water. It was as if the river itself was fighting back against those who mistreated it, signaling a looming disaster. Then there were the frogs, numerous frogs coming from the dark waters, entering every part of Egyptian life. Whether in luxurious palaces or simple homes, no place was safe from the invasion of frogs. This disaster was truly like something out of the Bible. Clouds of locusts fell on the land like a dark cloud, eating all the green plants in their way. It looked like a dark tale, with these hungry insects leaving only destruction behind. And we cannot forget the darkness, a thick, total darkness that covered the land, making it strangely dark. It was as if the essence of night had been turned into a weapon, darkening the once bright kingdom. But the most terrifying was the last plague, the death of the firstborn. From the rich areas of the pharaoh's palace to the simplest peasant's house, No family was left untouched by this dark visit. It was a clear sign of the consequences of resisting, a harsh conclusion to a series of divine punishments. Yet amid all the chaos and destruction, some might wonder about the fairness of such harsh actions. Were these plagues really acts of just punishment, or just signs of an angry God? This question remains in the minds of both doubters and believers, wrapped in uncertainty. However, the stories of the 10 plagues continue to be remembered, written down in the biblical records, as warnings of divine power and human weakness. They remind us of what happens when people disobey and show how unpredictable divine judgment can be. The 10 plagues of Egypt have left a lasting mark on religious thought, encouraging reflection on the nature of faith, justice, and human challenges. They are more than just old stories, but continue to be powerful symbols of the ongoing conflict between people and the divine. Many have been fascinated by the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. Next, we'll learn more about these tablets and what they mean. Understanding out the 10 honorable commandments. People have been fascinated by the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments for ages, seeing them as a key part of Judeo-Christian beliefs. These old objects, often shown in religious art and stories, are highly respected as sacred items containing divine lessons about right and wrong. According to religious tales, God gave these tablets to Moses during his time on Mount Sinai, which was a critical moment in the Bible. They're said to be made of solid stone, with God's own finger carving the rules onto them. This idea has caught the interest of believers and non-believers alike, leading to many discussions about their origin and meaning. Scholars have long debated exactly what's written on the tablets and how it's arranged. Different religious groups and texts have slightly different versions, but regardless of their age, the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments still play a significant role in religious events and ceremonies. They're seen as symbols of what's right and fair, something that hasn't changed over time. Many archaeologists have tried to learn more about them through digging and research. Even if the tablets have worn down over the years, people still see them as spiritually significant. The story of Moses receiving the tablets on Mount Sinai is a crucial part of Jewish and Christian texts. It shows how important these rules are for shaping how people act. They're seen as a real connection between God and his followers, as written in the Old Testament. Over time, artists have depicted the tablets in various ways, from old carvings to large sculptures. Their meaning goes beyond just religion, shaping how people think about fairness and right and wrong in society. But even though many people respect the tablets, there's still doubt about their origin. Some experts think the story about Moses getting them from God might not be true. They say it could be a story made up to make the rules seem more influential. There's also a lot of debate about what's actually written on the tablets. While most people think there are 10 rules, not everyone agrees on exactly what they are. This has led to different interpretations over time. Some people say that the rules on the tablets aren't very useful in today's world. They think they're too old-fashioned to help with today's problems. With technology and culture changing so quickly, sticking to old rules might cause more difficulties than they solve. Another big worry is how well the tablets have been looked after. Even though they're seen as precious, they've still been damaged over time. Weather and wear and tear have made it hard to read what's written on them. But despite all these doubts, many people still see the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments as powerful symbols of what's right and fair. They guide how millions of people live their lives and make decisions. Whether you see them as religious treasures or just ancient artifacts, their impact on how we think about right and wrong is still felt today. Whether you think they're holy or just old rocks, they make us think about how we should act and treat each other. Now, we'll explore the Jordan River's important role in the Israelites' journey. Get ready to discover its remarkable story, crossing the Jordan's dry path. The Jordan River is a key event in biblical history, a key point in the Israelites' journey to the Promised Land. In stories, this river was a big barrier, separating the wilderness from the land that was promised to the Israelites, a place that was supposed to be perfect. But it wasn't just a barrier. It was also a test of faith and a place where people believed God did some pretty amazing stuff. When the Israelites got close to the Jordan River, they faced a big decision. They could see the Promised Land, but they couldn't get there without crossing the river. It was a big moment, showing a change from wandering to getting what they were promised. At this big moment, the Ark of the Covenant came into play. People believed it had God's power inside it. According to the stories, something amazing happened when the priests carrying the Ark stepped into the water. The river, which was usually rushing and full of water, suddenly stopped flowing. It made a dry path for the Israelites to walk through. This was a big deal because it was something that couldn't happen naturally. People saw it as proof that God was watching over them. The Ark of the Covenant played a big role in this incredible event. People believed it had the 10 Commandments inside, which were rules from God about how to live a good life. As the Israelites walked through the dry riverbed, they were reminded about these rules and how they were supposed to live. Crossing the Jordan River wasn't just about walking across a river, it was also about believing in something bigger. It was about trusting in what God promised and following what He said to do. For the Israelites, it was a really important moment that showed they were moving on to something better. Even after all this time, the Jordan River still means a lot to people who believe in the stories. It's a special place because of what happened there. People from all over still visit to see where it all happened. But even with all its importance, the Jordan River has had a hard time lately. Pollution, too much use, and problems between countries have made things tough. Now it's not what it used to be. It's not as big and powerful as it once was. When the Israelites were unsure about crossing, the ark, carried by priests, got close to the river. Something really unusual happened. The river stopped flowing, and the water moved away to make a dry path. The Israelites walked through with God's help. But even though the river had a big meaning, it still has to deal with the same problems other rivers face. It's about 156 miles long and flows through a rocky area. But it's been hit hard by pollution, a lack of water, and problems between countries. It's not looking good for its future. During their journey through tough times, the Israelites made a big mistake, crafting the golden calf. This choice would have major consequences, setting the scene for what's next. The Israelites' horrible choice. While traveling through a harsh desert, the Israelites faced many challenges and uncertain times. During this journey, they committed a significant error that would be discussed for generations. They succumbed to the temptation to worship idols by creating the golden calf. This incident illustrates how easily people can be swayed into making poor decisions. Throughout their desert travels, the Israelites ignored the warnings found in their sacred texts and began worshiping idols, disregarding the commitments they had made to their God. They chose to follow their desires over their beliefs, leading to confusion and misguided actions. The creation of the golden calf from melted gold was a glaring symbol of their error and a stark challenge to the authority of the God who had been guiding them. This act marked a pivotal moment in their journey, indicating that they were deviating from the right path and opting for false deities. Despite their pledge to remain faithful to God, they pursued immediate gratification without considering the future consequences. During their lavish celebration around the golden calf, where idol worship was rampant, the Israelites broke their solemn vows to God. This demonstrated their lack of faith and their willingness to choose immediate enjoyment over what was morally correct. Initially hesitant, they eventually became fully engrossed in idol worship, allowing it to dominate their actions. Following the celebration, marred by their idolatrous behavior, the Israelites faced the wrath of God, which was a justified reaction to their actions. The golden calf, once seen as a symbol of prosperity, now represented their disloyalty and misconduct. Although they pleaded for forgiveness, they still had to face the repercussions of their actions, which served as a cautionary tale for others. After making the significant mistake of creating the golden calf, the Israelites had to come to terms with their actions. Initially, the golden calf might have been seen as a favorable sign, but it soon turned into a symbol of their wrongdoing, a stark reminder of the consequences of straying from the right path. Despite their regret, the past actions were irreversible, and they had to accept living with the results of their decisions. The construction of the golden calf from shiny melted gold was an evident sign that the Israelites were not heeding the guidance of the God who had delivered them. Its appealing, lustrous appearance made it resemble the idols from neighboring cultures, tempting them further into making a choice they knew they shouldn't have. During their elaborate celebration around the golden calf, the Israelites indulged in idol worship and consequently forgot the solemn promises they had made to God. This lapse demonstrated the peril of disregarding moral principles and the ease with which they could be forgotten. Despite God's pronounced displeasure at their idolatry, the Israelites continued their worship, knowingly indulging in what was wrong. They lost their faith and grew fond of the golden calf, even as they sensed that trouble loomed on the horizon. Following the festivities, the Israelites were confronted with God's justified anger. The golden calf, once a token of potential blessings, now symbolized their betrayal and deviation from God's path, a clear indication they were moving in the wrong direction. In the ancient times of their wanderings in the Sinai wilderness, a significant event occurred when Moses ascended Mount Sinai to receive the Ten Commandments. During his prolonged absence, the Israelites grew anxious, fearing Moses might not return. In their fear, they approached Aaron, Moses' brother, pleading for him to create a deity they could follow. Although many years have passed since then, the tale of the golden calf continues to serve as a powerful lesson on the dangers of yielding to temptation and the importance of adhering to one's moral values. This story underscores the long-lasting impact of the Israelites' actions. Their decision to worship the golden calf not only broke their bond with God at the moment, but also set a precedent that would influence their spiritual journey for years to come. It serves as a historical example of how poor choices in moments of weakness can lead to extended periods of hardship and divine disfavor. Thus, the golden calf remains a lesson in the importance of maintaining faith and making wise decisions, especially during times of uncertainty and fear. What do you think? Were the Israelites solely to blame for the golden calf incident? Share your thoughts. Leave comments and subscribe for more engaging discussions.